Hello everyone, and this is what we're going to be working on today. It's a mixed media collage of sorts with color pencils, and there's my cat Megatron. First I started off with an old floppy disk, took it apart. There's the remnants of the insides right there, and I added some glue to it, and we're going to apply an old page from the comic book. So I just added it to the floppy disk right there after I put glue all over it. Just wrapped it around, nothing too difficult. Everything's square, so now I'm going to cut out the hole. Of course, there's a hole in the middle of a floppy disk. Of course, some of you may not even remember those days with the 5 1/4 discs. I think it was about 500 KB it held. Then when the smaller discs came out, it was 1.1 meg. Anyway, enough trip down memory lane, showing my age. Right there, I'm kind of just forming the circle around there after I cut the hole in the middle. And there we go. And I also cut the bottom part where it reads the disc. And the hole on the side, a small hole on the side. I grabbed a piece of cardboard, an 8x10, anything, just cut a piece of box, form it 8x10 so it fits in any standard 8x10 frame. Grabbed random pieces that everything must go, and that 20% off is from a Harbor Freight flyer. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. And there's a comic book I'm chopping up, grabbed some of the ads. That comic book isn't worth anything. I do love it. I love comic book art. I love comic books, in case you haven't gathered that by now. But just grab a page that seems kind of interesting. There's one about send in your poems. And they'll make a song out of it or put it into a compilation, spoken word. And there's my baby sleeping. And that piece of cardboard he's sleeping on was my first choice to cut up for the 8x10 backing, but he kind of claimed that before I was able to. So there I am once again holding out the innards of the floppy right there. Again, for all you that may not remember those days. So I just glued some pieces that I've cut out any old which way. There's Dr. Doom in the bottom left. There's a muscle man in the middle. That's an ad from a comic book. You could look like that guy if you buy that product. So there I am, cutting out another ad on the page. Found some old coin ads that you send in money and you get a random selection of these hard to find coins. Of course, you know, they're very easy to find. They're just telling you that. In case you didn't know. In case you're about to just send in your money. I'm using a tacky glue that's non-toxic, water-soluble, easy on the environment. Also your fingers. I don't have to worry about gluing my fingers together using that. And I'm just placing them any which way. Just put it down already, please. Okay, there you go. Almost. Okay. So, I finally found a resting spot for it. So those superhero glasses ad was pretty cool. Every now and then you'll go to a Comic-Con, a comic book show, and they'll sell those old glasses with the superheroes on there. Remember, my dad had every single which one, but he sold them before he moved. Right now I use some color pencils and a straight edge, and I just put some lines in there, and I'm coloring some triangles in there. Favorite shape of that I have is the triangle, and no, that's not because I'm in the Illuminati. Please don't even think that. So there you go. I'm using a triangle to make triangles. There you go again. And no, I'm not in any secret organization. If I was, I wouldn't tell you anyway. Okay. I'm using one of my favorite books I read recently by Christopher Hitchens, Love, Poverty, and War, as a little impromptu desk. And I'm just going to color these in as I go. And there's a little more of a finished product. I love color, so most of my stuff, whether it's photography or mixed media or fractal, I always love loading in the color. I can't get enough color. So I'm using color pencils. I also like oil pastels, but the problem with those is a project that you're kind of zeroing in on these tighter spaces. The pastels just sometimes don't want to get in there too tightly. So I just prefer color pencils. Plus oil pastels can get a little messy after a while. Get them all over your hands, all over, the floor. So there I am coloring in that triangle over there. There's my foot. To my foot? I don't know. So drawing another line through the picture. There's an ad for learning karate. That seemed to be in every magazine back in the day. So doing some more coloring. Used the orange right there. Okay, there's the supervisor, making sure everything's okay. Yep. Hey Megatron, what's up? Okay, probably gonna add a few more colors, of course, before everything's said and done, until we move on to the next phase, and that's attaching the floppy disk to the picture as well. There's some of the ads. So everything's finished being colored. Now I'm going to add those springs, and those springs will hold on that floppy disk. Have it elevated, hovering above the picture there. I'll again use some of the tacky glue, and I'll also kind of mix it with a little bit of super glue to add some extra strength to it. And right now I'm just setting in the springs. And the springs I repurposed from the hand pump soap dispensers that you can get at any old dollar store or Aldi's. So once they were done, I ended up cutting them out. So right there, I set it in some tacky glue. Once the tacky glue sets, then I add some super glue around it to add some extra strength. Now I'm coloring around each spring a circle. It masks some of the glue stains and also the color that the glue left. And I used a circle template to make a nice neat circle around each of the springs. And I used a Sharpie colored marker to do so. There's a fuchsia color right there. And there's my vintage drafting circle template. It's quick drying and covers over everything. And I'm just going to touch up a few spots. The tacky glue is supposed to dry clear, but when you use quite a bit of it, it actually leaves a white part that doesn't quite turn clear. So I just paint over it. And then I glue the top of the springs, and I set the floppy disk on top. And I add a little weight to it to allow it to dry and make sure each of the corners touches the springs. And it's finished. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and thank you once again for watching.